pretty crowded. They crowded into the City Hall lobby for about an hour. There were speeches. It was a large gathering of people, and then they decided to just leave. We have some video from earlier when they all gathered here. The protesters, many of them from a rally at Cal Anderson Park, marched down here to City Hall, where we're hearing Council Member Shama Sawant opened the doors for them. Hundreds poured inside. They took the microphone. They had a loudspeaker set up. Many of them called for Mayor Jenny Durkan to resign after some violent protests over the last 11 days. There were speeches and cheers. Within an hour, protesters left. They marched back up the hill towards Cal Anderson Park near the Seattle Police Department East Precinct, where last night barricades were removed and people were left to the streets without any police presence. Tonight, the only response we're hearing from the city was that they were monitoring this situation and working to keep all of the demonstrations safe and peaceful, which it appears that was absolutely the case here tonight, but certainly a really interesting sight that we haven't seen in a long time here in the city. A lot of people gathering here after hours, being able to unlock the doors and just go right there inside the lobby. We'll have more on King 5 Mornings, but for now, I'll send it back to you guys.
So, Ted, has the mayor responded to any calls for her to resign?
Well, not directly, Joyce. Her office instead says she is committed to working on police reform. They're redirecting any questions about the resignation to some of the work that the mayor's office has already done with SPD on addressing some of the current concerns of the demonstrators, making some changes in the field like we saw up on Capitol Hill, and then committing to some oversight and review of the police tactics, which might lead to more changes in the future. Joyce?
All right. Ted, thank you reporting live for us tonight. Appreciate it.
There must be one in the streets.
So many of the protesters, as Ted said, who were inside City Hall, were at this rally earlier in Cal Anderson Park. That was about 6 o'clock tonight, and many of the same speakers talked to crowds at both of these locations.
Meanwhile, Black Lives Matter is suing the city of Seattle to stop police from firing tear gas, projectiles, and pepper spray at demonstrators. The group says the city's commitment to curb police use of force is not enough, and they are asking a judge to take immediate action. Ted Land was working on this story earlier this evening before being called out to breaking news. He tells us more about the emergency lawsuit.
Black Lives Matter demonstrators backed by the ACLU say they cannot trust the Seattle Police Department to use restraint and curb its use of deterrents like pepper spray and tear gas as protests continue. So they're suing the city of Seattle, arguing SPD's use of force discourages people from exercising their constitutional right to free speech.
Well, it seems like weapons that used to be considered sort of extreme last resorts have become just a part of the commonplace, ordinary police response to demonstrations.
Molly Tack Hooper is a senior staff attorney with ACLU of Washington.
I mean, we saw their voluntary quote unquote ban on tear gas that lasted all of 2 days. We don't think the city is doing enough. We think that the continued authorization to use these weapons against peaceful crowds just has to end.
A spokesperson for Mayor Jenny Durkan says city leaders are committed to a thorough review of SPD's response to the protests. And they've already made changes, like pulling police off the streets surrounding the East Precinct on Capitol Hill. Quote, the city will protect every individual's First Amendment right to safely protest their government and demand action. The mayor and Chief Best have acknowledged that the city can and must do better for crowd management. Ted Land, King 5 News.
Meanwhile, just a day after Seattle police removed barricades near the East Precinct, protesters put up their own fences and spray painted the words "Cop Free Zone" and "Defund Police." They also placed tents in front of the precinct on Capitol Hill. Today, Police Chief Carmen Best spoke with protesters and answered their questions.
For moving forward, if we do decide to have another march or another big congregation of thousands of people, will we be met with the same type of offensive tactics and the same, or are you guys learned and chilling now?
Or pulled back, the street was open. The videos, the camera, y'all were there.
So next time that won't be.
No, the only time we react in any kind of way is if the officers are taking rocks and bottles, and we removed them. We had 25 people injured. I don't want officers injured. I don't want the community injured.
Chief Best went on to say she wants to meet peace with peace.
More calls today to defund the police. Just last year, the Seattle City Council voted nearly unanimously to offer $15,000 signing bonuses to attract more officers.
Let's go get more. All right.
Well, Council Public Safety Chair Lisa Herbold says that her perspective has changed since she and her colleagues approved the police bonuses last year.
I think this is a really important opportunity to both take apart the budget and reimagine what a public safety department for the city might look like.
In Seattle, the police department accounts for more than $400 million of the annual budget. One of the council's more moderate voices, Deborah Juarez, tweeted that she's ready to defund the police as well, but added defunding should not be confused with disbanding. Well, King 5 has learned the feds have filed their first criminal case related to the violence that we saw during the Seattle protests. This is the homemade firearm called a slam fire gun. Federal agents accuse Devonair Parker of carrying during the May 31st protests in downtown Seattle. Police say that they found it on Parker when he threw a can of beer at a police sergeant. Agents say that the homemade gun is functional and could fire shotgun shells. The feds are also looking into whether criminal organizations are behind some of the violence during the protests. Here's King 5's Chris Ingalls.
Some of the people responsible for the violence and destruction in Seattle could be charged here in federal court. So says the area's top law enforcement officer, United States Attorney Brian Moran.
As I looked at the video in Minneapolis with Mr. Floyd, I was just sickened.
The United States Attorney says he understands the anger coursing through the crowds of protesters in Seattle. But he says what federal agents are targeting is the opportunists among them.
There are a lot of people that want to hijack that message of peace and understanding and love.
Anti-fascist or Antifa groups have already been accused, but Moran says agents are looking at both left and right-wing extremist organizations.
Absolutely. A lot of it hinges on intelligence I can't share. The FBI has put out a call for video. We're analyzing lots and lots of video. We're looking at federal offenses. Obviously an arson would be one. Certain actors coming from out of state to in-state might be invoke federal jurisdiction, crossing state lines.
Moran says the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division is also monitoring at least one case of alleged police brutality. Manuel Ellis, who died in Tacoma police custody in March.
I'm extremely mindful of Tacoma with Mr. Ellis, Manuel Ellis. There's a lot of recent media attention to that. I've been in touch with the county prosecutor's office, the attorney general's office. I'm well aware of what the nature of the allegations are.
The advantage to prosecuting crimes here is that the federal courts often have stiffer penalties. In Seattle, Chris Ingalls, King 5 News.
The family of Manuel Ellis, the man who died at the hands of Tacoma police, say they have new evidence and new reason to call for an independent investigation. Our South Bureau Chief Drew Mickelson spoke with Ellis's attorney and mother today after seeing this newly released video.
The attorney for Manuel Ellis's family says this video that you're about to see shows that Ellis was not combative with police. He was downright respectful, is what the attorney says, and did not deserve to be killed by the officers. The 33-year-old was killed back in March while being taken into custody by Tacoma police. Officers said he had been banging on cars, and when they tried to arrest him, he started fighting with them. The medical examiner determined Ellis died due to a loss of oxygen due to physical restraint. Today, his attorney, James Bible, released doorbell camera video from across the street. He says it's not so much what it shows as what can be heard. The attorney says in the middle of the scuffle, Ellis says, quote, "I can't breathe, sir."
Can't breathe, sir. Can't breathe.
What we learned is he said, "I can't breathe, sir. I can't breathe, sir. I can't breathe, sir." A clear sign that it's not only a struggle for breath, but an attempt to still be respectful in your last moments of life.
A spokesperson for the Sheriff's Department says they do have that video as one of their many pieces of evidence in this case. They are prepared to present this case to the Pierce County prosecutor tomorrow. The Ellis family and their attorneys say that's just way too close. They don't like the idea of detectives based here in Pierce County and Tacoma investigating the Tacoma police. The governor says if he does not feel like it's a fair investigation, he can order the state patrol to conduct its own investigation. In Tacoma, Drew Mickelson, King 5 News.
George Floyd is now in his final resting place, 15 days after he died, pinned under the knee of a Minneapolis police officer. Thousands across the country watched as family and friends remembered how he lived.
Out of his death has come a movement, a worldwide movement.
Floyd's family, they were overcome with emotion as they remembered him and talked about how his death has inspired so many to now stand up for Black lives.
I'm gonna miss my brother a whole lot, and I thank God for giving me my own personal Superman.